I'm going to go ahead and officially kick off the 2021 Venture Showcase. My name is Sarah Bodley. I'm the Executive Director here at Reset, and it is my absolute pleasure and honor to welcome you here tonight. We are here to celebrate the incredibly hard work and innovation of yet another inspiring cohort of entrepreneurs. And in just a few hours from now, these 14 change-making businesses will officially become part of the Reset alumni community as they move on to their next enormous steps that they are planning to take with their businesses. These 14 are about to join the 129 other businesses who have come before them since this Impact Accelerator began in 2013. And I'm just so excited to continue to support their journey, your journey, entrepreneurs, well beyond tonight. And you, our audience, I want you to know from the get-go, you are not just an audience tonight. You are here as investors, as customers, partners, and decision makers. And tonight you'll see you have the power to help grow these local businesses. So Reset exists to change the way business gets done. The world is changing right now, and we are here to challenge the status quo of business as usual. We've seen more and more proof every year that doing business better leads to better business outcomes. You see that diverse-led leadership teams consistently outperform other teams financially, that prioritizing the health and well-being of employees and customers leads to stronger relationships and more inclusive cultures. And more brands are realizing that when they directly and authentically confront major capital P problems like climate change and systemic inequities, they get greater respect and loyalty from their consumers. And right now, we're emerging from an unprecedented year with twin traumas of COVID-19 and continued systemic racism in our country. And I see this moment as an immense opportunity to reinvent and to rebuild with more purpose and care for humans at the heart of the work that we do. In the past year, hundreds of thousands of businesses have closed nationwide, and in Connecticut, over a third of our small businesses have closed. We have to invest in making sure that this local ecosystem can get through this crisis and come out better on the other side. We really can't afford to continue enabling systems that disproportionately omit women and people of color in positions of leadership. We need a dynamic shift. And the entrepreneurs you're seeing tonight are part of that solution, each in their own ways. A little bit about how we got here tonight. In our selection process, we're looking for companies that are prioritizing profit as well as impact. So we're thinking about economic development, job creation, community wealth building, and also the type, not just the types of businesses, but who's leading these businesses. This year, we really specifically sought to bring in startups that had identified a specific and measurable environmental or social problem and had a financially viable pathway to address that problem with their business. And at Reset, we also aim to empower entrepreneurs from right here in Hartford as much as possible and throughout the state. And throughout this program, these folks are practicing and gaining the skills to really make sure that their values align with how they're building and scaling their businesses. So by showing up for these folks tonight and lending your support, your patronage to these, and I will say to any local small business right now, you are showing up for change. And I'm really, really glad that you're here tonight with us and beyond. Now, before we get into introducing our first round of pitches, I have to thank a few people and organizations that helped get us here tonight. The Impact Accelerator program is supported by CT Next, the Travelers Foundation, the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, and many other core funders. And this event specifically this evening is made possible with additional sponsorship support from Murtha Cullina, the Walker Group, Stanley Black & Decker, and Capital for Change. And I also have to note that countless individuals, including a lot of you in tonight's audience, have made financial contributions as well. And all of that really helps to keep our doors open and to keep these programs accessible. To all of our mentors, guest speakers, and judges who have helped guide and shape these folks since January, you have been absolutely essential. And I have every faith that the relationships you started this spring are going to live on well beyond tonight. Oni Obiocha, Emily Reisner, Stephanie Robles, Ramses Minus, Jeff Devereaux, and the entire team at Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner, Mary Cockram, I am so grateful for your support and partnership throughout this journey as the small but mighty team, keeping the lights on, keeping everybody connected back here behind the scenes. Our alumni, so many of you returned this year as mentors, and some you're going to hear from tonight as moderators. Our alumni are such an important and essential part of Reset's community and continued impact. I also have to shout out Kate Emery and the Reset board for setting Reset in motion over 10 years ago and continuing now to carry the torch for social enterprise. And of course, our audience. I am so grateful that you've joined us here to see this change making in action. I've lost count. We have well over 100 people in the room already here today. And I am just so excited because this year we're also shaking things up and we're giving you the power tonight to invest in some exciting new businesses. So here's what you can expect tonight. So normally, first of all, we would be on a big stage all together in a physical space. We're not able to do that this year. So in lieu of that, I really would love to encourage everybody to make good use of the chat box. Give your shout outs, your props, ask questions there. Please share recommendations. You can offer connections and support. All of that is so important to the entrepreneurs tonight to help them continue on their journey. And also, as each entrepreneur steps onto our virtual stage, I would love for you to just flood the chat box with hellos and welcomes so that they know you're listening and you're here. Another fun trick in Zoom is that there's on the bottom of your screen, there's a little reactions button that you can use if you want to give a little applause or put a little heart up there or celebrate what you're hearing and seeing this evening. So tonight's program is going to unfold in 4 parts with themes that are aligned with the startups in this year's cohort. And in each one of those segments, you're going to first hear each startup present a 3-minute pitch. And then that will immediately be followed by a short panel discussion that features those same founders, which will be moderated by Reset alumni and give them a chance to dig a little bit deeper into the problems and solutions they're addressing. So for that, we really would love for you to post your questions in the chat box so that we can make sure that we get some of those answered in the panel. Okay, now this part is really important, so please listen up. Every year, for those of you that have been here before, you may know that every year we try to pass out a handful of impact awards, and this year we are doing things differently. First of all, the award pool is completely funded by you, the audience. You will be invited a couple of times tonight to contribute to this fund as you see the pitches unfold. And we've already raised about $1,500, almost $1,500, and we are aiming, if we can, to get to $5,000 tonight with your help. You will be the investors, so therefore the decision also lies with you. So at the end of all of the pitches, you will have a chance to cast your vote, and you'll actually get 2 votes. So you can pick your top 2 companies, and at that point, we will make the decision about who those final winners will be. So I really hope you will keep track, take notes, and at the end of the night, help us decide who will take home up to 3 cash prizes. So please use this power well. Think like an investor, consider the impact, consider the sustainability of the idea that you're looking to back. We will also have an intermission tonight, and we'll close the night out with a little bit of networking, so you will have at least a couple chances to rub elbows with these entrepreneurs a little bit up close. So those critical success factors, make good use of the chat box, flood that chat box every time somebody comes in, make sure to post your questions there. Anything you donate tonight will go straight back out the door to the winning companies, and your votes will determine the winner. Okay, with that, I am so excited to introduce the first round of tonight's program. So the first 3 companies that you will see are in our category, Disrupting E-commerce through Local Purchasing, Equity, and Inclusion. And as you will hear, they are all tackling this in really interesting and different ways. So to kick us off, I would like to invite Donald Pendergast, the founder of Curated CT. The stage is yours. Let's flood the chat box and let's hear it for Donald.
Thank you so much. So good evening. My name is Donald Pendergast, and I'm a co-founder of Curated Connecticut, Curated CT. We are all about connecting consumers with select local provisions and the people who make them. So I just want to take you back to my own little journey through this, and my love for going to farmers markets. I've tried CSAs. I really enjoy shopping locally. I've been involved with other startups trying to do loyalty, other kinds of things, and it's really tough making that decision. It's so easy to click the subscribe button on Amazon. It's so easy to hit Target on the way home after a late, long, busy day of work in Hartford, battling traffic, finding where to go, and not to mention the fact that small shops are typically open during the day, but I'm also at work. So it's not a luxury that many of us have, even though it should be the simplest decision we make. Curated CT is all about bringing products straight to you from local providers. We're sort of a two-sided market. We want to be a #1 recurring revenue source for small businesses in Connecticut, but we also want to provide a membership to you. It's not just about a box that you get each month. It's also about local content. It's also about giving back. Every member that we have each month, we give it's over 1% of our revenue back to a local charity each month that we feature. It's about also sustainability. We're looking at reducing waste. How often do we subscribe to things like Blue Apron and get all these things that we throw away? So we're actually investing in mushroom biodegradable compostable packaging. And each month we are featuring things like bread, cheese, chocolate, coffee. This most recent month we featured Rose Sisters chips that are made down in Bridgeport, and that was a big hit with our customers. So how does this work exactly? So first thing, of course, you join. After setting some preferences with us as well, like do you like your coffee whole bean or ground? And whether or not you would like to pick up your box at one of our events, there's some added bonuses there, or by default, we will ship your box right to your home. You'll hold on, hold tight there. We'll do all the running around for you. You don't have to go anywhere. And of course, it gets delivered right to you. Each month it's a $75 commitment, and we deliver we estimate $115 worth of value, including the time and driving it takes to do all of that. So what are our customers saying? This is actually something a customer sent us on Monday morning, after she and her family got to opening their April box. And one of my favorite quotes was from one of our members, Maura, who said, "Do I have to share this with anybody?" You don't, but sometimes you do. So we are seeing some traction. We're getting a number of some publicity, and we've had a lot of opportunities like Reset. We've launched our pilot, and we've most recently, again, launched this membership opportunity, and we're shipping statewide now exclusively to Connecticut residents. So before I close here, I just want to introduce you, not just to myself, but my co-founder, Paul. He is, I think we're this yin and yang team. And he's really a huge heavy hitter when it comes to our operations and making sure that we're delivering consistently to our customers. So what's our ask? How can you participate, and how can you help us grow this curated community? Well, if you can, I'll drop this link in the chat. It's curatedct.com/pages, plural/reset. From this, you can indicate your interest. You'll get signed up for our newsletter, and you can also indicate further interest whether you're interested in a curated Reset collaboration box that I'm currently exploring with some of my colleagues here on this call and some of our alumni. You can indicate whether you want to refer a friend and help us, grow the base that we have of interest. And of course, you can learn more about what's coming up in May.
And Donald,
thank you so much. And I'm wrapping up, Sarah. Perfect.
Great.
Thank you so much. And special thanks, of course, to Oni, Sarah, Mark, Jim, and Carrie for all your support over the last 3 months. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it for Donald, everybody. So I am so excited next to invite Mark, the founder of Giverang, to join us. Go ahead and unmute and share your screen and take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mark. I'm the co-founder of Giverang. Meet Susan. She's a local economic developer. She's been watching small businesses in our city struggle to compete against corporate chains, online giants, and now a global pandemic. She's tried everything she can to help with various programs, but nothing's really working, and she's feeling totally helpless. That is, until she found the solution. Introducing Giverang's local currency card. Imagine a gift card blended with a rewards card, all in one convenient package. It's the perfect gift for family, friends, or employees. Customers can even earn rewards in local currency for buying local products. This attracts more customers to these small businesses and excites spending in the area. Local currency can only be spent at independent small businesses in the locality, but not at chains like Walmart, Amazon, or any other community. As more cards are issued into circulation, a pool of local money begins to grow that gives participating businesses an excellent shot at getting a piece of the pie. We're operating in a well-established market focused on the 30 million small and medium-sized businesses in the US. Not all will be great fits for the program, but if we can convert 5% of the serviceable addressable market to users, that'd be $150 million. The potential is big. In Bristol for our pilot, we're charging a subscription to merchants of $300 a year or $30 per month. So far, 11 out of our 14 businesses have opted for the annual, giving us a sense we may be underpriced. Our goal is to continue price testing to better triangulate pricing. In the future, we aim to be a SaaS that charges a local organization or person for our product. Our go-to-market revolves around finding ideal partners to license our product to, like Main Street associations, chambers, or entrepreneurs looking for a franchise-like opportunity. We anticipate our local partners to leverage their existing merchant relationships when installing the program to hit the ground running. Our goal is to launch pilots in 1 to 2 communities this year. We're then loosely projecting each locality to earn $30,000 in revenue. By the end of year 3, our goal is to be in at least 30 localities and earning $900,000 in revenue. As far as our team, my co-founder Roy leads the tech and has 20 years experience building software. I bring 10 years experience in community and economic development to the table. We're also aided by a great set of volunteers, interns, and mentors too. After years of development, we're making fast progress. From December through February, we built the MVP. And on March 1st, we launched our Bristol pilot. So far, we have 14 businesses and growing for approximately $4,000 booked on our early bird terms. And we're looking to launch a second pilot in Connecticut in the next few months. In conclusion, we have traction in Bristol, interest from 6 additional communities in the state, and we're just getting started. Our ask is, if you can connect us to an economic developer like Susan, please forward them our info listed below. By doing so, you join our mission in making the world of commerce less homogeneous and more local. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Amazing. And next up, we will invite Simeon Talley, the founder of Basic Goods. Simeon, go ahead and unmute yourself, share your screen, and take it away.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Simeon, and I'm the founder of Basic Goods, a retail marketplace that connects young consumers to clean and inclusive early-stage consumer brands, both in person and online. I want to start by talking about the world as it exists today. Overwhelm, exhaustion, and everyday stressors have become the new normal. Maybe some of you can relate. From tired parents to overworked CEOs to overburdened students, we all aspire to optimize our lives and show up as the best version of ourselves, yet doing so, being the best version of ourselves, feels out of reach. The pandemic has only heightened this tension. Nearly 6 in 10 people are more conscious about their overall health due to the pandemic, while 3/4 say they plan to eat and drink healthier from now on. 70% of American consumers say their awareness around human-caused climate change has grown. We all want to do better, feel better, and be better. The good news is that there are so many creative individuals making amazing products to address this. In fact, the tools to create a brand or a product and sell online are at their most distributed. Consumers have options, plenty of them. But navigating this new retail and consumer environment has become increasingly noisy for the average person. The internet is flooded with a growing number of indie and direct-to-consumer, better-for-you brands launching every day. This is why I created Basic Goods, a community-first retail marketplace that connects consumers in real life and online to early-stage clean and inclusive health, beauty, and wellness products. We curate the brands and products of the future and tell their stories to a broader audience. Simply put, we connect consumers to brands that align with their values and are most relevant to living a healthy and sustainable life. I launched the very first Basic brick and mortar store in Iowa City, Iowa last October, in the middle of the pandemic, a medium-sized cosmopolitan college town located in the eastern part of the state. To date, gross sales have exceeded $100,000. We've shipped to 18 states, including to Connecticut, and 30% of all sales take place via our online store. What we found is that it is a mix of both in-person and online that consumers most appreciate. It's one thing to see ads on Instagram or on Facebook for a new and exciting product, but for most consumers, seeing the product in person and talking to a customer service rep about it leads to greater conversion. a combination of being both online and in brick and mortar that adds value to the consumer and differentiated value to our brand, to the brands we partner with. Right now, I'm seeking mentors and advisors who have regional or national retail experience as I look to expand basic goods into additional markets. Coming soon in July to Hartford and to Boston this summer. Thank you for your time and opportunity to be a part of this accelerator.
Thank you, Simeon. Let's hear it for Simeon. I would now love to introduce our first moderator of the evening. Eliana Cardeño is a graduate of the Reset Accelerator and an Impact Award winner in 2019. And Eliana is really well versed in the space of commerce and subscription boxes as the founder of Kiyomi Beauty Box. And when we were catching up this week, I learned that Eliana has officially stepped into the realm of becoming a serial entrepreneur, as she's now onto a few new endeavors, including a podcast, which we'll be excited to post on our platforms in the very near future. So I will invite Eliana to unmute yourself, which I believe I have to, there we go. And you can go ahead and begin our first panel. Thank you, Eliana, and welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah. I am so excited to be here and to be a part of this amazing event and to welcome all of these wonderful entrepreneurs and companies to the ever-growing list of Reset alumni. This was so amazing. And Mark, Donald, and Simeon, you guys did an amazing job. Way to kick off the night. So to get things started, I have a question for all three of you. I'm going to say the question, and then I will ask each of you to answer that for me. And then we'll move on to questions from the audience. Okay, great. So the first question for all three of you, and I'm going to probably have Donald answer this one first. Why do local ecosystems matter? And how is your company moving the needle to create more local supply chains?
Thanks, Eliana. In fact, I think we met briefly at the Pratt Street pop-up back in December.
Yes, we did.
Saturday in November. Yes, I love it. So I think it matters for this reason. It's that connection, right? I mean, we can talk about the economic factors and how much of your dollar stays local versus how much of your dollar stays in the local community if you shop at a big box store. But I think, especially right now, I think that connection really, really matters. And I think back to a number of years back, the New York Times was reporting about the number of people in the U.S. Broadly that did not know their neighbors. So I think there's this real need for connection, for just knowing why we're here. And I think for the Hartford region and for Connecticut, I think that helps keep people here, right? I think that's why we want to, why we identify with being in Hartford or being in Bristol or being in wherever you are. So I think it's just incredibly important. I think commerce and capitalism is just a great tool kit that we have to help make that happen and to build that culture that we're looking for.
Great. Thank you so much, Donald. And now we'll go on to Mark for the same question, please.
Yeah, thank you. Donald, you kind of teed me up there with the numbers. I think it's, well, the funny thing is that when people hear shopping local is good for you. It's sort of like the economic development equivalent of, your mom when she used to say, eat vegetables, they're good for you. It's like people have a general sense it's good, but they may not understand all the reasons why. And I think one of the most important factors to look at is really what are those dollars doing when you spend locally? And there's multiple studies that have been done that show that for every dollar that you spend at a mom and pop shop, up to 70 cents or more on that dollar stays and recirculates in the local economy. It's going to fuel the tax base. It's going to feed families. It's going to pay increase wages, jobs, nonprofit donations, services like police, fire, all your municipality resources. And versus when you spend at a big box store, while it may be in your backyard in your own city, as little as 40 cents or less of that dollar that you spend actually stays in the community. It goes off wherever the shareholders are or where the corporation's located or what have you. And so from that standpoint, I think what we're trying to educate people on is the fact that when you do spend locally, it has this incredible cascading effect down at the local level that really increases the wealth, of the people in your city and the folks who are providing those services to you. So, part of what we're trying to do is change consumer behavior. As Donald mentioned, it's gotten so easy to just click, the one-click buy on Amazon and get a box sent to you. But, we want to show that, like, by shifting some of the focus away from that, there's a huge opportunity to reconnect to folks here and support, these really important businesses and efforts.
Absolutely. And these are some great answers. And I think this is apparent by the amount of people that are showing up tonight and the amount of people that want to support local entrepreneurs and local companies. So absolutely. So why don't we finish up with Simeon? Same question for you as well.
Yeah, could you repeat it quickly?
Yes, of course. Why do local ecosystems matter? And how is your company moving the needle to create a more local supply chain?
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add for what Donald and Mark said is that, as we kind of emerge out of the pandemic, going through it really laid bare or exposed a lot of equity issues. The pandemic and COVID affected maybe everybody, but it affected certain groups who were already more at risk, more harshly. So as you're thinking about, growing the economy or development and issues of equity and inclusion, it's really important to pay attention to the local makers, artists, smaller businesses in your community, and give them the support. And, so I have a brick and mortar store, and although I work with, national brands and, brands that are, coming out of New York, LA, or some of the bigger markets, in the store, we do try to source products locally as well. So we are very much plugged into the local maker, creative artist, giving them a dedicated space and retail presence in the store too. I just saw that I'm choppy. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, better? A little bit better. Without the video, it's better.
Okay, sorry about that. I guess the only thing I would add is that it's just important to pay attention to these issues as we emerge and come out of the last year of going through this pandemic, and how certain communities and certain groups were affected more harshly than others. And oftentimes smaller businesses or more localized regional entrepreneurs, artists, creatives, and whatnot. And then how my business is specifically maybe addressing this. I have a brick and mortar store, and so we source brands from all over, products from all over the country, but we do have pretty significant and decent representation from local makers and artists, and as well in the store. So, and that's kind of the model that I want to carry, on. It's, I have sort of a set group of products that I work with, but tapping into the local community to work with local entrepreneurs as well.
Great, thank you, Simeon. Okay, now on to audience questions. I'm going to ask the first one to Donald. Donald, people want to know, how do you source your products for the subscription box? And similarly, how if you ship outside of Connecticut?
Awesome. Thank you for both those questions. So I'll answer it in the reverse order. So currently, as a function on our website, we ship in-state only. I'll tell you all, since you're all part of the Reset family, a little secret. We have started dabbling with care packages, which is the frequent requests we get. We've had organizations that want to do stewardship gifts for big donors. We've had companies that are interested in doing boxes for certain occasions. And we've had moms and dads who want to send their kid in college elsewhere in the country a care package, or a family member that is from Connecticut, but they've relocated to Colorado or something, and they just want to send a little something. Reach out to us. It's not something that we can. I can't promise that every day, but it's not. It's something that we're willing to entertain. We can do. I think we shied away from it because of cost. Shipping kills us, but we know that that's the reality no matter what you do, right? So if you want to ship them a curated box, we're happy to ship it anywhere. So the first question about sourcing, we've picked a handful of the vendors we've started working with, really just to get our pilot off the ground in the fall and continuing into the spring here. It's really just about buying from them directly. So it's at this point we're bundling products, and products like North End Rose, and talking with them about how we can start to whether it's a little sampling that we can do in our boxes, or if it's something that we can somehow feature in within that price point to make it reasonable. And essentially we do a combination of things like literally running around the state of Connecticut, filling our cars with stuff, and getting it all ready to go. So hopefully that gave a little bit of color into the back end of what we've been doing.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Thank you. And we had so many questions about shipping to Canada, shipping across the country. So many people that want to share this as a care package. So again, people reach out to Donald. He may be able to help you out there. And for Simeon, similar to Donald, I'm so sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if there are for those that have made those comments in the chat, I do see them. If you're capable of going, in a place where you can go onto our website, feel free to ping us. There's a few different ways to do that, and there's a chat option, there's email. So feel free to reach out or directly in the chat. That's fine too. Thank you.
Thank you. And Simeon, similar to Donald, to the question for Donald, how do you curate your items for the store? And what kind of products or items are you particularly looking for?
Yeah, so right now we're focused in 3 specific product categories: health, beauty, and wellness. And my partner, who is on this in the Zoom meeting, she pushed me a little bit to stop referring to beauty and personal care, to be a bit more inclusive. So the way we talk about, what many perceive as beauty products are more personal care goods for self, as a way to be more inclusive. So those are the 3 categories that we focus in, and kind of what we're looking for is, first and foremost, is it a sustainable product? Does it appeal to a more inclusive, diverse type of consumer? Specifically when it comes to the personal care and the wellness products, those are spaces that have been historically, traditionally very white, upper middle class, or even upper class dominated. Is the brand or the product, is it appealing to a person of color? Is it accessible at a price point that makes it more inclusive? And then, finally, we just sort of look at, is it interesting? Can we tell an interesting story, a compelling story around it as we're marketing it, as we're partnering with them? And I saw a question about marketing in the chat feed. We really, lean on and partner with each individual brand to kind of market, the store, what we're doing, and whatnot, and it's worked well. Since we're such a new concept, since most of the brands we're working with are very new and recently launched, we kind of lean on each other in our marketing efforts.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Simeon. And then last but not least, for Mark, people want to know, if you're a Bristol resident, how can you sign up for your card, and how can they start using it to receive these rewards?
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Bristol, my hometown. Yeah, so you can go to bristolbucks.com and you can buy a card and have credit on it, just like you would buy any traditional gift card, and then we'll ship it right to you. And they look like this, and they have a little QR code, alphanumeric number. And then the other way to acquire a card with credit on it is again, you can go to bristolbucks.com, and the businesses that are participating in Bristol will list a particular offer. So for instance, our local bakery here is given a $1 back in Bristol Bucks for every $15 you spend. So if you buy $45 worth of donuts, then you're going to get a card with 3 Bristol Bucks on it. And that money is guaranteed to stay local at the local businesses here in town.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you to Simeon, Mark, and Donald for these amazing presentations. And thank you, Sarah, again for having me. And best of luck to all the entrepreneurs and companies presenting today.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kamani Harrison. I am the creator of the Key Bookstore. 2016, I was 24 years old, navigating the chaos of the world. And the first thought that appeared in my mind was to go to a bookstore. It was there in Inglewood, California, I discovered the book that changed my life. It sparked me to ask 3 questions. Where are all the people that read this book? Is this author doing events? And where can I find more information? This is the key. I designed a system that connects the everlasting curiosity of the human experience to the books, community, and resources with our mission, divine liberation, 1 page at a time. Our solution combines and curates the entire book experience for our customers, leveraging technology to deliver an immersive book experience and deliver it fast. We call ourselves a full-service bookstore by systematically delivering a curated book experience for a customer of any size and demographic. Now, before I move on, I know what you're thinking. If you're worried about the future of book sales, here's your answer. And note, we also sell ebooks and audiobooks too. Here's a glimpse into our experience nationwide collaborating with celebrities and authors. To the left, we're pictured with No Names Book Club in Los Angeles, California. And in the center, that's Tony Browder, author of the book that changed my life. Our achievements have taken us to 8 countries, 30,000 books sold, and 6-figure revenue in just 3 years of business. Key Bookstore is pushing reading culture. Cyclically, our performance reflects our positioning to meet the demand of the readers. 4 years later, Key Bookstore became a name resource for knowledge. We are the competitive edge in 3 niche markets. Diversity and inclusion education is a top priority on a global scale. Book metadata has a high valuation and is overlooked in the current infrastructure of this industry. This is how we stack up against the competition. Our system captures book consumers from every angle to keep them immersed in our book buying experience. The cost for building out this system is $350,000. This covers 5 areas to handle growth, including marketing, SEO and SEM strategy implementation, and internal system upgrades. This readies us for liftoff. Our systems will be in place for efficient organic takeover of the internet book space. Our 5-year goals for Key Bookstore include self-reliant distribution, nationwide partnerships, and a leader in book data collection. In 10 years, we see ourselves as a carbon positive organization, influencing a green standard for the publishing industry. Education breaks the cycle of ignorance. Key Bookstore will continue to be the brand that delivers on powerful knowledge resources with the greatest technology available. And with that, does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Kamani. And yes, please post those questions in the chat box and we will come back to them in the panel in a few moments. Thank you for your presentation. I am excited next to introduce Steph Robles, the founder of Nourishing Habits with Steph. You can go ahead and unmute and share your screen and take it away.
Welcome. I'm Steph, the founder of Nourishing Habits with Steph, where we reframe nourishment and cultivate care. Our vision is one where people are encouraged to take care and heal their bodies from within and heal from burnout culture. Our mission at Nourishing Habits with Steph is to create healthy and sustainable Black and Brown communities by developing nourishing practices for the well-being of the body. We deserve to care about ourselves enough to care for ourselves. The overarching challenge is that mental and physical health disparities disproportionately affect queer, Black and brown women and femme communities due to social and institutional forces that encourage hustle and burnout culture. What does hustle burnout culture look like? It looks like imposter syndrome, hyperproductivity, massive amounts of multitasking, perfectionism. How does our current society encourage burnout? Through unmanageable workloads, unfair treatment, oppression, and unsustainable life and work environments. The need to take care is not valued in the same way as giving care. This leads to the internalization of perfectionism and imposter syndrome. And so self-care is now seen as a treat at the end of the week if you've had a productive week, versus a very necessary daily nourishment practice for longevity and your well-being. Our solution is to redefine nourishment, create wellness practices into nourishing habits, and to create a culture of care. We do this. Also, shout out to Key Bookstore because I got half of those books there. We do this through tailored one-on-one support, holistic wellness and sustainable nutrition workshops, and speaking engagements. Our target market are queer, Black and brown women and femmes ready to cultivate holistic wellness practices in their lives. And our additional target market are organizations and higher education institutions who have a vested interest in the longevity and well-being of their staff. So in terms of competition and context, the wellness industry is dominated by folks who do not look like me. And so Nourishing Habits with Steph is here to counter some narratives, some burnout narratives, and some of the dominant narratives of what wellness can look like through radical womanist thought, harm reduction, sustainable nutrition, and holistic wellness. We started by doing nourishing meal preps, and then in March of 2020, we were set to expand and then pivoted due to COVID-19 to online educational services, which is where that picture is taken from. And then our next year is to build a sustainable expansion of our services. In 2020, Nourishing Habits spoke at the Jami Sisterhood webinars, and then also facilitated a number of workshops through the Dreamcatcher initiative. We had the wonderful benefit and privilege of going through Reset's Accelerator program, and also Nourishing Habits won the logo challenge for Trinity College. So look out, we're getting our new logo next week. And then we also expanded our team to include a social media manager, and then also just found out that someone has volunteered to be a website designer. Thank you. Over the next year, our priorities are to increase corporate and higher education institution workshops and speaking engagements, to use the institutional and corporate wellness services to subsidize community wellness and individual sliding scale services. We also are building our Patreon platform to support our financial sustainability and stability. And then in the next 5+ years, our goal is to be the premier inclusive holistic wellness organization in Connecticut. Our individual and collective well-being is an act of resistance, an act of revolution, and an act of self-love. So the ask at the end of all of this is to connect with higher education institutions, connect us with any organizations or any groups that are looking to build holistic wellness practices within their lives using an inclusive framework. Feel free to connect with me. My phone number is on there, my email's up there. We're on Instagram, and our website is coming soon. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Without further ado, I would love to invite our third presenter for this topic. Jermika Cost is the founder of Simply Hadassah. Jermika, you can unmute yourself, share your screen, and take it away.
Okay, so again, my name is Jermika Cost, and I am the proud owner of Simply Hadassah, an online boutique and resale store. We are Simply Hadassahs. We are an online resale and boutique store for the entire family. We are a part of one of the most resilient industries in the world, e-commerce. What are our roots? I was a single mom for many years, but I loved fashion. I learned to shop while remaining financially conscious and thought, how can I help others to do the same? Then one day, everything changed. I went to a conference and I heard about trafficking. And so I thought, how can I couple my passion and my love for fashion and help change this narrative? So here we are. 100% of our resale stores' net sales go toward building a building and resource fund for survivors of trafficking in Connecticut. And 40% of our boutiques' private label sales go directly to survivors around the world. So how will we do this? Our resale store will continue to expand our e-commerce shops. We'll connect with the community for donations, financial and clothing donations. We'll continue to train and educate the community about the true severity of trafficking. And then last but not least, provide an employment workforce development program for survivors in Connecticut. How will we support that vision? Our boutique. Our private label products will continue to sell and reach throughout the entire world. We'll receive financial contributions from stakeholders like you. We'll receive grants and subsidy programs as well. Our future looks bright. Our brick and mortar will include a product development warehouse, on-the-job training, a training center, childcare center, and clinical space for survivors. Our financial goals. I've gone from making a hobby of $6,000 a year to making major projections over the next 5 years. Who's our consumer? I found that no matter what socioeconomic system we are a part of, each and every one of us loves to shop, and we love to shop luxury. But the middle class spends about 50% of their income on luxury items like clothing and shoes. Did you know that 99 billion is estimated in annual profits from commercial sexual exploitation? Our mission is real. So my question to you is, got a building? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. And we have our fourth presenter for this segment. I would love to welcome Danica Hightower, the founder of North End Rose Scent Studio. Danica, take it away.
Hi, I'm Danica Hightower, licensed massage therapist, holistic wellness and self-care coach, and sole team member for now behind the North End Rose brand. I've been a wellness professional for more than 10 years, and I absolutely love it. So now that we've met, I have a question for you. Who here has ever felt down or stressed with no idea how to lift your spirits? Those are just a couple symptoms of mental fatigue. I'm sure there have also been times when you've wished for an easy button that would melt your stress away, right? Well, North End Rose is that easy button. Our goal is simple: to reduce mental fatigue and promote mental wellness with scent. While mental fatigue isn't new, it has seen a marked increase since COVID began, and even I wasn't immune. Canceling appointments and wondering about the financial toll was incredibly stressful. Yet my heart was on my clients and how I could help them from afar. While going through a calming routine that I created for my autistic toddler using frankincense and lavender, it hit me. Use my training in aromatherapy. Enter North End Rose, a therapeutic scent company that reduces mental fatigue by raising dopamine levels. Leading with our popular main product, North End Rose sits at the intersection of two multi-billion-dollar industries, aromatherapy and candles. We're in a great spot to capitalize off our position in local markets where our main competition includes Bath & Body Works, Yankee Candle, and smaller local companies. Our position highlights a middle ground that is largely untapped. With consistent and strategic scaling, North End Rose can fill that middle ground gap and become a multi-million-dollar company. In fact, we've already gained traction, most notably from the scent-triggered nostalgia of our Hartford Scents collection, collaborations, media features, and customer testimonials. We also have repeat customers and produce for multiple private label companies. So, why North End Rose? We're made in Hartford and feature eco-friendly products that are convenient and give you scent therapy in the palm of your hand. With our Scented for Good initiative, we support positive mental health movements and organizations, including those dedicated to autistic individuals and their families. Our business model is a multiple income stream base with 4 components. Presently, we are operating online and consistently sell out of products. The plan to get our products and services to market incorporates various avenues, including online sales and utilizing targeted social media platforms. To meet the demand for our products, maximize on the middle ground gap, and introduce our services, we seek funding and resources for bulk supplies and to secure a headquarters. This will enable us to produce large quantities, host events, provide employment that embraces the special needs community, and present our services, which includes custom scented branding. If you are able to connect me to these resources or would like more options on how you can be scented for good, send me an email to info@northandrose.com. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great evening.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danica. And with this, it is my absolute pleasure to invite yet another graduate of the Reset programs who's going to moderate our next panel featuring these 4 women. Dawn Leeks is the co-founder of Lioness for the Female Entrepreneur. Dawn was a part of the 2018 Impact Accelerator, and Lioness has recently been acquired by a massive company here. So it's been so amazing to watch her journey unfold. And we are thrilled to have Dawn joining us here to moderate and ask a few questions of these folks that you've just heard from. So Dawn, I'm going to ask you to unmute and pass the mic to you.
Good evening. Thank you, Sarah. Good evening. And listen, those pitches were amazing. I just hope that you all are feeling good about yourselves, because some of you, I had the honor of giving some feedback on pitches earlier in your program. And so it's really wonderful to see how those pitches have come along, and you guys rocked it. So I hope you feel that sense of relief that you feel, the pressure's off. And so we're just gonna have a good conversation and talk about self-care and self-mastery. So the first question, and this will be for each panelist, is how does self-care or self-mastery show up in your business? And so this could be for you personally, like we'd love to hear about your daily practice, but then also maybe how it would show up for people who are patronizing your business. And so I'll just go to Jermika first.
Sure. For myself, I tend to be financially still frugal and cautious to ensure that I'm spending my money wisely, but I don't tell myself no when I'm able. And so that means that if I see something that I really like and I've been thinking about it and I really, it's something that I just can't stop thinking about, I go and buy it. And there's no regret that I have for myself when I'm tending to myself. As a mom, as a wife, as someone in the community, sometimes we can kind of put ourselves last. And so it's important to me to have those moments. And so that's what I do for myself.
All right, thank you for that answer. Kamani?
Definitely. So literally, this is how I designed this system for self-mastery. 2016, I was looking for self-mastery through books. And then 4 years later in 2020, others were looking to master what was going on in the world and turning to books. And us having that curation available for them help them on their self-mastery journey as well. So that's what the whole system is designed for, is to master self with knowledge resources.
Okay, that makes me think about well, of course, coming from a media background, it makes me think about getting facts and getting information that is the truth and reliable information. And so that's what you mean when you say self-mastery?
Right. Yeah, having the capacity to at least know, okay, I'm going to turn to a book. Everybody tells you to go read a book for information. That's part of the information journey. And so at least turning to a bookstore, making sure it's a bookstore that's going to curate for what you're looking for, which is facts and truth. That's what the system was designed for.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And let's go to Steph.
Sure. self-care is embedded into the foundation of my business. And so self-care is so necessary, and also the component of care and self-mastery slash discipline. The balance of those are so necessary and needed as an entrepreneur and as a human that's functioning in this society, where it's just go, 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 go. And so my personal self-care routines involve, honestly, my morning routine is everything. It's what keeps me grounded and focused for the day. And so that usually involves getting up, having water immediately, and stretching. And usually it's a combination of some stretching, some yoga, having some nice music playing in the background to keep my mind just focused a little bit. Journaling if there is time, because honestly, those stretching, I say stretching, y'all, I mean like 15 minutes max, because you got to get going. But then also making sure that those care practices are embedded throughout the day, every day, not waiting until the end of the night. Did I do enough? Did I check enough off my list in order to be able to give some self-care back to myself? And so really incorporating that, whether that is sitting with a cup of tea for 5 minutes and closing my laptop, leaving my cell phone in the other room, and being present in my body. Do I have 5 minutes or do I only have 60 seconds? All right, I have 60 seconds. I'm going to go put a nice little timer on the other side of the room so I can hear it, but I'm not looking at my phone every 5 seconds, and just tapping in. And it's those moments throughout the day, again, like throughout the day, throughout the days of the week, where we're not just waiting until we got back into bed after the long day or waiting till the end of the week, that really, really helps get you through the rest of the week. And not just running on fumes, but like genuinely being able to be present in the moment every day.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because as you were doing your pitch, it struck me when you said, we do this kind of treat-based self-care, and that you're really trying to do this shift to where people they think of it as a daily practice, and now you're even saying throughout the day. But I'm just curious, how do you start to shift someone's mindset to that? How do you get people to buy into this kind of, okay, I need to practice it all day?
So usually it starts with asking, how are you feeling in this moment? And like really actually taking the time to sit with your body, with your mind and your spirit. Like, how are you in this moment? And let's take time to be able to sit and actually check in with our body. Because usually in order to get to the next task, we're not checking in with our body. We're going, going, going. Do I need coffee or not? And so reframing that to say, oh, wait a minute. I'm recognizing that my energy is a little bit low. Okay, let me do a check-in. Do I need a nourishing meal? Do I need some dark leafy greens of some sort? Does my body need something else, like to stretch because my back aches? What do I need in these moments for my body to make it to the next moment, to make it to the next day? And so usually it begins by asking, how are you feeling today? And sometimes you might need tissues next to you when you start tapping in and you're like, oh, I'm great. Oh, well, there's this and this and this. And so that's okay. Holding space for that, to actually allow yourself to feel what you are feeling, is the first step. And then the next step after that would be figuring out and like going through some options of what is realistic for you, what is useful for you in your daily life. Doing yoga for 15 minutes is useful for me. That might not be useful for someone else. For somebody else, they might need a text message. Good morning, beautiful. You've got this day. Or it might be something else, and like tapping into your love languages and understanding what your love languages are, so that when you're depleted, what type of love do you need to fill your cup? And I don't want to take up too much space, so thank you.
I was about to politely jump in there, right? But thank you for that, Steph. And I'll just share that I did like 15 minutes of yoga yesterday, and then I just cried for 20 minutes after that. So I guess that needed to come out. So I hear what you're saying. Danica, I did not forget about you. What can you share with us? How does self-care and self-mastery show up in your business?
That's actually, Steph, was a great segue into that, because it's important to know who you are. You know, if you don't know who you are, it's important to get to know yourself so that you know your limitations, that you feel comfortable, just, you know, giving yourself permission to be the best that you can be. Um, for me, in my case, it's being mom to my adult son and mommy to my toddler son, and just being able to balance my workload, because I've come to know myself enough to know, okay, I need help here. Um, I'm not able to do this right now, and not feeling guilty because I have to say no. You know, a lot of times people just don't know what their limits are, and they think they have to be everything to everyone, and they forget about themselves. So, you know, Northern Rose was created to get you back in touch with yourself. You know, I've had people ask me, oh, you don't do larger candles? And I'm like, well, my candles are designed to let you get some intimate time, you know, so they're best enjoyed when they're right in the same room with you. And I've had so many people say how fulfilling just this one small little candle has been. I have people tell me that, you know, since they can't get out anymore, or, you know, they're working from home, that they look forward to getting off work because this candle is now their commute. So, you know, it's just learning how to get to know yourself and balancing. And that's what I've been able to find.
Oh, thank you for that. Can you share a little bit more about your story about your son and the effects of the scent on autism?
So my little guy here, he was diagnosed with autism at just about 15 months. I figured there was some things going on because, you know, this is my second journey with being a mommy, but he calms down a lot. So there are 10 cents, and I apologize, I don't know them all off the top of my head, but if anyone is interested, I'm happy to send you over the article about it. But there are 10 cents that are very calming and enveloping to those on the spectrum. For my little guy, I found that both frankincense, which is very unusual. Most people are like, oh, lavender is it. He likes lavender, but he really responds well to frankincense, and being able to, you know, just have that calm him down and really enjoy it. He doesn't sleep a whole lot. So when I give him, you know, his little frankincense rub down that he loves, you know, he starts to calm down and he starts to, you know, breathe deeper, which is a really good thing for him because I'm not doing medication. You know, he's very active. So being able to have something so simple as an essential oil that works well for him has been such a lifesaver. But there are 10 since that they've done the research on. Like I said, I'm happy to share that says that these different ones, and bergamot is also one of them, that we, you know, children on the spectrum respond really well to. So yeah, he's been doing really great with it.
That's amazing. That's really, truly amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
I'm going to come back to you. A question came through for you. What are some of the ways that the profits from your social enterprise impact the lives of human trafficking survivors?
So we currently partner with 4 organizations in the state of Connecticut right now that are doing the work on the streets, out in the community, and actually one of the first survivor homes in the state of Connecticut just opened up, and I am so proud to be partnering with them. And so we are literally partnering with those who are directly connecting with survivors. And I also like to say, many times those who have been trafficked, they move in a journey, and it starts with being a victim, and then it's a survivor, and then an overcomer. And to see that journey happen in our own state, it's just the greatest thing that I could ever experience.
Well, that's amazing. Congratulations on those partnerships. Now I'm looking, and I'm sorry, Emily, if you want to chat me where we are on time, because I have not been paying attention. I'm just so into the conversation. I've really been a horrible moderator. 8 minutes. Okay, thank you. All right, so we've got time for a couple more questions. Kamani, a question came through for you. How are you sourcing books, and are you licensing with any of the major booksellers or other online distributors?
Yeah, I didn't really understand that question, like licensing. I have my distributors for my books, but that's part of what makes me competitive is I have connections to smaller distributors that have a curation of powerful literature that's in, and because I've developed that business relationship, that's why some of the major retailers don't have the curation that we do. So like I have not partnered with them. That's doesn't seem to be the interest of these major retailers. And also these major retailers, their standard net discounts for books. And so if they get, access to my information, then they could potentially outsell me. So I don't see how that would be beneficial, really.
Right. So these are basically your competitors, the major.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. And so it sounds like the question, the person probably was just trying to understand your business model a little bit better. And so
Okay.
what I'm hearing is that you, your distribution network, you go out and you outsource to smaller bookstores.
Because I'm actually in the community. I'm actually a part of these
Mhm.
like conversations. Yeah, to meet the demand that is on the ground that these major retailers are deaf to.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So for the person that asked that question, if I hope that hopefully they answered your question. And if it didn't, just pop in the chat, give us a little more clarity, and we'll be happy to follow up with that. And Steph, I kind of asked you a bonus question. That was my own question, but the question that came through for you was, can you just talk a little bit more about how you make money and who your customers are? Is it institutions or is it individual people?
Sure. So both. Right now, Nourishing Habits has contracts with individuals doing one-on-one support, as well as 2 organizations that we are still doing workshops with. And then the goal is to build the workshops and build guest speaking. And then Nourishing Habits was also featured, was a guest speaker in a class at a higher ed institution. And so the goal is to increase into higher ed, but for now, one-on-ones and guest speaking.
And so just for all of you running a business, and anyone that feels they have an answer for this, go ahead and chime in. But do you think, I know as a life coach, I know I was running a lioness, but part of the services we offered was life coaching. I also do leadership training and development. I noticed that when I would talk to people about, we said we wanted to grow the entrepreneur as well as help them grow their business. But when we would talk about the growing the entrepreneur piece, eyes would just glaze over. Like people would just check out. And so it's self-care. It feels sometimes kind of like a woo-woo. You've got to be earthy, crunchy to engage in it. And how have you found when you're talking to people about this, have things changed? I mean, I'm talking about 6-7 years ago when we were getting started. Are people more receptive to the idea of actually taking care of themselves?
I think so. I found, especially because of COVID, like people have become more aware of the need to take care of themselves. Before it was, I'm too busy, I'm too busy, I'm too busy. But, with COVID, you ain't too busy now because you're stuck in the house. So, I think a lot of times people don't know what to do. So now with a lot of these apps that are coming out, different online programs. I think I saw the other day that they're now, there's, you can talk to therapists, through an app online where things are more private now. So I think that people are wanting to venture out a little more because they don't feel so exposed.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, there is, in some communities, there are stigmas around self-care, just by admitting that you're caring for yourself kind of makes you look maybe weak in some people's minds. Anyone else have any thoughts on that?
Can I jump in?
Of course.
I'm so grateful that you said that because I am, so I have this business and I also work at Reset and also facilitate one of the other Reset programs. And so yesterday we had class, we also had office hours, and office hours ended up being conversations about self-care and navigating the balance. And there was a lot of mentalities of, well, if I'm resting, then I'm not working and I haven't done enough. And at one point, someone used the word lazy, and I had to pause and say, hold on a second. You told me you have 3 jobs and 2 kids and your business. Like, how can the word lazy be in your vocabulary? It is the reframing. Like, those are the mental reframings that I'm talking about that need to happen around care, that are slowly happening around care. I am so grateful that throughout 2020, when you look up SEO and keywords for wellness and mental health, the numbers are exponentially larger than they were a year ago and 2 years ago and 3 years ago. Yes, partially because of COVID. And also, I do feel that wellness is not a trend. Self-care is not a trend. It is a multi-trillion-dollar global market that is still expanding and also has made it into the mainstream. So yes, I do think that for the original question, like, are people still responding in the same way to care? In some regards, I think it depends on the way that you frame it. Because Nourishing Habits was originally framed around self-love, and people are still not necessarily willing to have conversations about self-love. So we'll start with some self-care, but we do have to acknowledge there's some love involved in order to care.
Right. So we're taking baby steps here. So we've kind of come to the end of our time. I just want to thank each one of you for your thoughtful participation in the discussion. Again, you guys rock those pitches, and I know that I have been inspired to go make my donation. So as soon as I get near my credit card, I'm gonna go do that. But thank you all so much. And with that, we will hand it back over to Sarah.
Thank you. And thank you, Dawn, for joining us tonight and for asking such great questions. I loved this conversation. I feel like I have a lot to sit with myself. So thank you all. And with this moment, we are actually going to take a few minutes of an intermission. We will give you a 5-minute break. I am so excited to introduce this next topic, which is investing in communities through innovative health, wellness, and education services. And like with everything else, you're going to hear some really interesting angles on this particular topic from the 3 entrepreneurs who you're going to hear from in this section. So our first presenting company is Spectrum in Motion Dance Theater Ensemble. So I invite Tulani and Kristen to take the stage, as it were. And as a reminder, kindly make good use of that chat box, make good use of the reactions here so that the entrepreneurs know that you're listening, and keep putting those questions in the chat as you hear their pitch.
Mabuhay and hello, everyone. I am here to introduce you to Hartford's best kept secret, Spectrum in Motion Dance Theater Ensemble, and we are a professional modern dance company and community conservatory. I am Tulani Davis, the Director of Programming, and I am here with Kristen Patesnell, company dancer and CREC teacher at Impact Academy. Spectrum in Motion has been raising dancers, making dances, and building community by being a place where everybody, regardless of race, class, gender, age, ability, or experience, is welcome to dance since 1982. Our roots run deep. We have been serving the Greater Hartford region for over 25 years with the mission of creating a sustainable home to present dance and develop equitable access to dance education and emerging artists and future leaders. And we are storytellers, and the stories that inspire us are the works of the world, regardless of where or whom they come from. They are a testament to our shared histories that celebrate and encourage us to learn from each other's experiences. And we wholly understand the value arts and particularly dance education has on an individual. And we emphasize that we shouldn't have to choose between our well-being and accessibility to necessary services. And at our community conservatory, no one is turned away who seeks to learn. All of our programming is driven for wholesome development for self and community well-being while maintaining the knowledge, discipline, and rigor of a traditional conservatory. And like I said, we shouldn't have to choose. Where the numbers tell us our income, our family household incomes are vastly lower than the average of the state of Connecticut and the nation. And when it costs to raise a dancer, it shows vastly how much we put into our students. And at the national level, when in 2020, the National Endowment of the Arts was given 0.003% of the entire national income or national budget, it shows how much we actually provide arts education or we give as a nation. While residents, the wealthiest residents in the state of Connecticut can raise two dancers with one annual income, while a Harvard resident at the same opportunity would have to give up a third of their income. So we ask you to go the spectrum mile. It is a representation of going the mile, meeting people where they are, providing access to services that are often not a choice for marginalized communities. And Spectrum Motion Leadership is a small but mighty team that is comprised of our founder, who leads the vision, our board of directors who campaign for the vision, and staff who makes the vision a reality. And they work closely on a regular basis, creating a circle of safety around the one and only job, protecting the work. And we have been successful in living in our vision without a permanent home. And as an organization that is extremely grateful to our partners that have provided us residency, it is time for us to have our own home, a NEPA hut. And our NEPA hut will be a gathering place dedicated to welcoming and celebrating all forms of movement and the community wellness of Hartford and greater Hartford families. Our NEPA hub will also include a proscenium seating black box theater to showcase BIPOC and multicultural narratives in multimedia formats, including dance, film, spoken word, and theater arts. And our three main components, a school, professional company, and community accessibility, are common values of similar work. We are a city that says Hartford has it, but we currently do not. So let Hartford trailblaze by cementing our impact into the community. And Bayanihan is an old reverend Filipino tradition which signifies working together for a common good and stands for a shared spirit that makes an apparently impossible endeavor possible through the strength and cooperation of solidarity. So we ask you to, one, get your butts in seats, attend performances, and follow us on social media. We ask you to, two, we need your help to keep growing, whether that's to be a NEPA hut team member or participate or partnership with us, or three, I need you to see me. The goal has never been to be colorblind. The goal is to acknowledge, embrace, and to learn from our differences. The goal is to believe in the diverse narratives of BIPOC folk. And Salamat, we thank you.
Thank you for kicking off part 3 of tonight. And with that, I would love to invite our next presenter. Dewan Wiggins is the founder of the Youth Business Initiative. Dewan, go ahead and share your screen and take it away. Good to go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dewan Wiggins. I am the founder and CEO of the Youth Business Initiative. Why is it? Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay. I am the founder and CEO of the Youth Business Initiative located in Norwalk, Connecticut. The Youth Business Initiative is committed to empowering underprivileged youth by teaching and equipping them to become successful entrepreneurs and managers. Our vision is to ensure our youth understand how to utilize economics to cultivate their future. In Norwalk high schools, we have a 12% dropout rate. 50% of our students are economically disadvantaged. Students that typically drop out or fall below the poverty level end up in rehabs, prisons, jails, or homeless. Norwalk Public Schools spend about $18,000 per student each year, which is higher than the state's average. It costs $62,000 a year for each youth inmate. Let's redirect our taxpayer money. The Youth Business Initiative teach youth business with a hands-on experience. We learn entrepreneurship, build businesses, and grow futures. By teaching the fundamental economics, students will have the opportunity not only to supply for themselves and their families, this is a great way to boost the local economy. Unlike other programs in Norwalk, YBI is located in the heart of the inner city. We have a young, committed driving staff, focus on social and emotional learning, and are heavily involved with racial equity. How it works. We start off with a 2-day workshop with 20 students. Then the students will partake in a 6-week economic training where they also would get $150 stipend towards their goals. After the completion of the program, the students will have an opportunity to partake in an apprenticeship program where we actually build businesses. So sometimes they'll have an opportunity to work together, and with our support and with the support of the community, we'll build these youth businesses and guide them along the way. What we have been doing thus far. Since YBI started last year, we hold 3 community events which had over 400 people attending. Because of COVID, we did a digital happy hour where we raised money and had over 1,000 viewers. And we also been highlighted on NBC Connecticut. As of now, we have 14 students that's a part of our program, which we attend every week, once every Thursday and once every Monday. So we have 2 different groups of students. Although we previously had 200 donors, we are nowhere near our goals. So we're looking to raise $7,500 this year. This will go towards stipends, provide transportation, and put us closer to a more safer, equitable community. With you guys' help, we can make this happen. Oh my God, it's just moving on its own. Become a stakeholder with YBI. Follow us on social media, Facebook at Youth Business Initiatives -CT, Twitter YBI_CT, or Instagram YBI_CT. Please support us. We really need it, and we look forward to connecting with you guys.
And I am now very excited to welcome our 3rd presenter for this category, the co-founders of the Samad Gardens Initiative. Welcome and take it away. Perfect.
So hello, everybody, and good evening. My name is Sarah Rose.
And I'm Blessings.
And we are Samad Gardens Initiative,
an urban gardening educational enterprise based in Hartford. Now, there are many challenges facing urban gardeners, especially in the BIPOC community. Unlike in the suburbs, simply finding land space or grow setup can be difficult, but this is just the beginning of hurdles people of color face accessing fresh and healthy food in their neighborhoods. There is a growing interest in gardening in the BIPOC community, but most people in the inner city don't know where to begin.
So Samad Gardens Initiative is an urban gardening educational enterprise promoting chemical-free, sustainable growing for the BIPOC community through practical instruction and ongoing gardener support. Our approach meets people where they're at to step them into the gardening lifestyle, starting with containers and smaller setups, moving into expanded container gardens or raised bed space, to growing in-ground on our community-owned and operated farm, if that's something they choose.
Upon joining the Samad Garden Club, our beginner gardeners will enjoy access to an organized library of videos and digital resources, and join onto a community of gardeners they can relate to and learn from for their continued support. And our mindset coaching is so critical to overcoming fear and insecurities that so many people of color face around gardening and life in general. Now, when they taste the bounty, experience the health benefits, lowered grocery bills, and a new connection with nature, they'll be well on their way to becoming a gardener for life and passing those skills on to the next generation.
And that's the goal. So in the gardening space, there's companies like Fruition Seeds, which offers webinar-based education. And there's even some urban gardening programs that are curated for people of color, like Ron Finley's masterclass in Los Angeles. But none of these entities actually offer individualized, in-depth gardener support, which is so needed, and emphasize the shared values of justice, independence, and ownership, or have that kind of mindset development aspect in their program. So a little bit about our revenue model. We have both one-time virtual workshops, physical produce and seedlings that we sell at local markets, as well as our monthly 3-tier membership and ongoing consulting with aligned individuals and organizations.
Since our launch in 2020, we've already delivered our first crash course workshop, launched our membership, and are consulting with at least 3 notable organizations in the agriculture and food justice space in 2021. Right now, our biggest concern is securing farmland for our tier 2 and tier 3 people to grow their own food, by leasing farmland plots and gaining on-the-job experience with real farmers who look like them.
Yep.
Samad Gar's initiative is only one member of the I Got Next Farmers Coalition, a collective of urban gardeners and educators based in Hartford dedicated to serving our communities.
Yep. And these are actual farmers that we've been working with. So our total expenses are estimated to be about $500,000 for farmland. We need a tractor, a wash station, greenhouse, and water access and supplies. But so we are in active land search right now and have already identified properties in Bloomfield, Windsor, New Britain, and more. So we are so grateful and very much in need of any support you're able to give in this effort towards ownership and justice.
Yes, Samad Gar's initiative. Thank y'all so much for listening.
Thank you. And please do connect with us. We have both of our emails here, or you can subscribe to our website or contact us there, samadgardensinitiative.com. Thanks so much.
Peace.
Awesome. Thank you both. Let's hear it for Samad Gardens. And with this, I am once again very excited to introduce another alum of Reset's programs. This is a theme, as you can now tell, that every single one of our moderators has also been in the hot seat before and has gone through our program. So our next moderator is Shay Kantner, who was a 2019 participant, another winner of an Impact Award, who's the founder of Engagement Solutions, which is really all about making it easier for families to connect with vital social services, regardless of their impact level. And I know that Engagement Solutions has also gone through some iterations since they did the program, which is always fascinating to hear, you know, how things evolved. But one thing that stood out, and the reason we wanted Shay here today, is that she's also been very deeply involved in understanding community needs and building a business that is designed to meet those needs. So Shay, I would love to invite you to step in here, unmute yourself. I will give you permission to do that, and you can ask some of these panelists their questions. Thank you.
Hi, Sarah, and hi, Reset. Thank you so much for having me and for having me particularly host this panel, which, as you just said, Sarah, is so near and dear to our heart at Engagement Solutions, to be improving the health and wellness and education services in the community. It's exactly what we are on a mission to do in our company, and we got our start at Reset. I'm so glad to see so many of you getting your start here as well, or pushing you along in your journey. It really opened doors for us, and I can tell that all of you are on that same path. So my question to the panelists, first of all, Tulani, Duan, and Sarah Rose and Blessings, fantastic job. You guys, I know I've been helping out, listening to these pitches from the beginning. I know Dawn said it, and I will echo it. What a journey you've come along to really give a cohesive pitch. It's not easy, I know. So I wanted to start by asking each of you the same question, which is, what are the core traits that your organization attributes to providing a safer, more resilient, and empowered community? And I'm going to throw this to Tulani and Kristen, if you're participating as well. What are those core traits that your organization attributes to a safer, more resilient, and empowered community?
So I'm gonna get us started, and then KP, please by all means jump in whenever you're ready. So I'm actually going to ask I'm going to ask a question in return. And what is it that is so incredible about dance? It's the fact that we, as dancers or as human beings, it celebrates the one thing that is 110% truly ours, and that is our body, our tailor-made body. It's this thing that we live in. And with that in mind, it allows us to celebrate exactly who we are, where we are, and what we need to be at that exact moment, the day that we were born. And it's the one thing that we're going to carry with us through our entire life. So with that in mind, you know, dancers and people who are physical all the time, right? We are people who like to push what our bodies can do to its maximum capacity, while others like to be observers and are fascinated and are in awe and inspired by those who can just enjoy it. but it is absolutely necessary and required for our homeostasis. It is not a treat. The only thing that is a treat with our movement are the endorphins that we get at the end.
And I think
So
kind of
important.
to tack onto that, right? We affectionately called the NEPA Hut project as part of Spectrum Motion, Finding Our Home, is a home for movement and wellness, right? Because we really believe that moving your body and telling your story and sharing those experiences is all part of our holistic wellness and health. And Spectrum Emotion has been dedicated to the whole person model of growing dancers and providing all these other services as well as part of that.
Thank you so much. So important. I think that the service that and the program that you're bringing to Hartford is so critical, especially now for people to continue to engage in really, I see it as a wellness activity too. I see some relationship back to wellness, right? And being able to participate in the arts, especially during this pandemic. Best of luck to both of you. Same question to Dewan. Dewan, what are the core traits that your organization attributes to providing a safer, more resilient, and empowered community?
So just really want to start off by saying, once again, I'm thankful to be here, but just really understanding community and economics, right? When you look at urban communities and inner cities around the country, right? Like it's one thing we lack, right? We understand that there's not enough resources, right? Not adequate education. And we think about the criminal justice system and just the systems in itself. But it all starts and ends with economics, right? Like that literally is what separates us all from any other community, right? When you look at any other community, it's built on economics. So the first, I've been doing community organizing for 7 years, and we would get laws changed and so on and so forth. But when you go back to these communities, you still see them looking the same, right? Despite a law being changed in the favor of the people that usually are poor, right? So it starts with and ends with economics, right? And when you think about racial equality, when you think about social emotional things, it took me years to think about even talking to a therapist. So that's what our program really values and we pay attention to, because and it's hard. And what I've noticed by doing this work for a long time is it's hard to get to the adults, right? That's been stuck in their ways or might not really want to hear, or maybe got to work 3 jobs to try to feed their family, right? So if we start with the youth, right, and we build these business and we teach them economics, we teach them credit, they could talk to their peers and they could talk to their families, and we can grow economically. And this program came really about when thinking about the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you ever know about it, but it was a prosperous economic community that was like the communities I'm talking about today.
Yeah, I think that your program is fascinating, Duan. I think that it's economics, but for you to bring the opportunity, that economic opportunity to students at that age is so critical. So thank you for that response. And finally, Sarah Rose and Blessings. The core traits. I first of all have to say, I began my career as a teacher, and one of my teaching positions was at a school in Hartford, right on Asylum Hill, close to Talani and Kristen. And I would have given all the money that I made teaching if I could have provided the students with a healthier lunch, with the opportunity to grow food, because their food would come packaged in like styrofoam and heated in plastic, and that's what I delivered them every day, and I had such a hard time with it. So tell me, what are the core traits that your organization attributes to providing that safer, more resilient, and empowered community?
Yeah, and I'm so glad you mentioned that because I mean the problem is so huge, but it also like the solutions are there, but there's just not enough I don't know, there's not enough attention or energy or just awareness that like you could grow food on the school grounds. You could even hire, you know, someone not for very much money, you know, to grow the food that you cook, you know. So yeah, so there's a huge mindset piece. But our one of our core values is ownership over the means of production. And this is absolutely essential to empowered communities. If you don't own, and really it comes down to owning land, but beyond owning land, you know, being able to produce something for yourself. You know, if you wear clothes, you know, the cotton came from, you know, a plant came from the land. If you know, work with you know, medicinal healing herbs, you know, wellness products, food, just produce, fresh produce, restaurants, like so much of society is actually all comes back to ownership of the means of production. And yeah, and actually, you know, as Dewan mentioned, it's the economics really go hand in hand, like the community economics go hand in hand with owning the means of production. And if not owning land, knowing how to produce food and kind of looking for that, like being, you know, aiming for owning some piece of land to, you know, be able to sustain yourself, your communities off that land.
Sure, indeed.
Thank you so much.
Also represent
That's really important, that we all are able to come back and own what we produce, and how we thrive and live. Moving along, there's a few more questions here. So I'm going to go back to Kristen and Tulani. I know you alluded to this in your presentation, a little bit of how you had to manage the pandemic with your organization. So can you tell us a little bit about how COVID-19 affected your organization a little bit more?
So just like everybody else, we went virtual immediately. We like to pat ourselves on the back for like transitioning as rapidly as we did. We have a partnership with the University of Hartford dance pedagogy students, where we had students who were in person with us who also were continuing to have their classes online. And as we all transitioned, these students, some of them were seniors, have internships with us and were required to finish out. And so all of us transitioned collectively to finish out not just their learning, but to finish out the learning of all of the students that they were supporting, generally ours. And I mean, it's been a whirlwind, and I think that can be said for all of us, and that, like, you know, we change based on what the needs are on our community. You know, not having a home has been a challenge, in that we follow the regulations of where our home resides. So that means for a full year, our students have been online virtually learning. And I mean, their growth has been unimaginable. Like, teaching students like this, right? It's one thing to have like a graph in front of them and trying to teach one thing, but when it's movement, if you don't have that trained eye, and then you're trying to teach a child where they have to push themselves, where it's normally, right, a physical activity, right? We support posture, we make them stand taller, we do all those things, right? If we don't have that contact, to have them just motivate themselves to do it and show up regularly has been, I get teary-eyed thinking about how incredible our kids have worked throughout this year. Whether that, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just want to say too, it, you know, and all the positives of, you know, I mean, that's how we've, you know, lasted, you know, 25 years in the Hartford community and for 40 years as an organization, right? Like, and especially as like a BIPOC owned and operated organization, right? Like, we definitely can survive any struggle. But it also did remind us how much of a need there is for us to have our own home and our own space, and to be able to, you know, wear masks and go back. I mean, I've been in a yoga studio doing yoga with a face mask on for months now, like, you know, and just knowing that we could have been connecting with kids and bringing them back into the fold and helping them with their overall health and helping guide them in school, like all those things we typically do when we're in person, is harder to do virtually. So it definitely has reminded us just how much we really need to move forward and push on finding our NEPA hut and cementing our impact.
Can I jump in?
Sure,
Can I
yeah, you have one more thing.
Sarah sent me a direct question asking me about where we would want our home, seeing, that there's some spaces around Hartford that are available. And our dream has always been to have a home downtown Hartford. That's because downtown Hartford has been predominantly where just the business people live, but to have a space that has giant windows and you can see professional dance all the way down to the littlest one in those open space windows of movement throughout the entire day of people that look like the residents and community of Hartford would make a ginormous impact for the city, where it would remind everyone at any point that they are welcome to do so and seeing the joy of what movement can do.
Thanks for that. Thanks for putting that ask out into the world. And I'm sure that something will come of it very soon for you guys. So next question, Dewan, something for you here. Tell me, why are you the best person to lead this project? And what is your background in entrepreneurship?
Oh, wow. Well, that's a great question. So, not to really toot my horn, but like I come from these communities for one, right? I grew up in these communities. People know me in these communities. I went down, a path that wasn't great. And I came out of it, right? And I opened my first brick and mortar company 2 years ago, which is thriving right now. We made it through the pandemic with no funding. Well, they gave us a little bit, but not enough really to sustain us, but we made it through. We're basically fully staffed. I own a beauty salon where we had 2 floors, and we built it. A group of my friends. It was 2 of my friends. We came together, and we built it from the ground up, right? And we motivated our city. Like literally, 4 different businesses birthed from our business happening, right? We motivated a lot of our friends. We motivated a lot of people in the community from all sides of the community. Reached out to us and was, thanking us for like what we have accomplished. So, I also went to school for human services. So when we talk about the social emotional side, I got a degree in human services. So like a few days ago, our students would come, we talk, and we do that one-on-one counseling type of stuff because I know how important it is, right? For someone just to give someone an ear and just give someone a time. So I make my doors open and available. I'm available to the students that we have now. Like I said, we have 14 students that's partaking now, right? And for us being a new organization, I work for $1 million organizations, and for me and my team to be able to organize an event where we have over 300 people attending, right, from the community, and over hundreds of donors, and we raised over $10,000 in our first event, right? That just shows how valuable we are in our community. So, I can't give really no better answer than that.
I think that's a great answer. And clearly you are all the passion and all the background knowledge from the community that you work in. So thanks, Duan, and best of luck to you. The final question, we have just a minute left here, but Sarah, Rose, and Blessings, one more question for you from the audience. Why did you both start gardening? And how has it become so important to you? What's the passion there?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I worked in a health and wellness store right out of college, selling like nutritional supplements. And I was introduced to the farm that I would then work at for the next 5 years after tasting the fresh produce. And then after working out on this farm in like rural Granby, all the CSA members, all the staff, everybody is white. And it's actually 98% of farmland in the US is owned by white people. So this is like an extremely huge problem. And I noticed that I felt that as I was living in Hartford, you know what I mean? And commuting to the farm in Granby, and just knowing that this is there's such a racial injustice to be addressed here. Yeah, it's absolutely a jarring statistic. Yeah. And so that I just felt that this would be my part, is to share, my experience, my knowledge on the farm, to bring that to the city, because there's a need, there's a desire. People want to learn how to grow their own food. People are interested in health and wellness, and they like need this. And so I just figured that would be, my way of, of contributing.
As for myself, I've always been very interested in living things. I grew up with a whole bunch of dogs and cats, and I just loved animals and stuff like that. And one day I ran into this young lady here, Sarah Rose. One of ours introduced us to each other, and she was telling me about how great the farm is. and then she was talking about they were hiring at the farm. Okay, so I went to the farm, and I was the black guy. The only black guy, and I got to see things like a pepper plant with peppers growing on it, and I was culture shocked, and no one else is surprised by this. I'm like, there's no one else look at the thing, it's growing on the thing, it's coming out the ground, and all the white people were like, yes, this happens. I'm like, wow. It was just this funny thing, and then I had a taste of what a real tomato tasted like. I hated tomatoes my entire life. No offense to my mom was cooking, her cooking couldn't make them things taste good. Let me tell you. When I had a real tomato raw off the vine, I was like, oh, I was living a lie. And I just began the whole thing. And of course, as I started to learn and progress, and she's actually been my best teacher as far as all the garden stuff, we both were like, we got to bring this to the hood, because that's always been my first, last, and best love, was for the people that I came from, because I get tired of the conditions that we live in. And there's a lot of things involved in food. Did you know mental health issues in your digestive system go hand in hand? A lot of stuff that happens up here depends directly on what you put in your hair. And if those things don't add up, then you're not going to function correctly. So there's so much to it. There's the science of it. There's the history of the fact that we traditionally work those lands. I'm Black and I'm Native American. You know what I'm saying? So these are my lands. And then my other side of me work these lands. I gotta find out how I'm supposed to work with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a part of passage type of thing. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, both of you, for telling your story. I can feel the passion behind your company, and I really wish you all the best. And that goes for all the panelists. It's time to wrap up panel number 3. And all of you really expressed your passions tonight, and you put your asks out into the world, and I hope you keep doing that. And if there's anything that I can do to help connect, I'll put my info into the chat as well. And so to reset, thanks for having us. I'm going to throw it back to Sarah. Best of luck to everybody.
Thank you so much, Shay, and all of our panelists. Again, I'm just continuing to be amazed here tonight with everything that I'm hearing, and so appreciative of the conversations that you're sharing with us this evening. At this point, now that you've heard, we're 3/4 of the way through these pitches, and I trust that you're feeling more and more inspired as well. So I'm going to welcome Allie back to share a little bit more of her story. I will invite you to unmute. And did that work? Yes, there you go.
You'd think after a year I'd have this down. Hi, everyone. I am back. Thank you, Sarah. That was such a great and inspiring conversation, as all the panels have been tonight. One of the words that I kept hearing was community, 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 and connection. And that really got me thinking, one of the best things about Reset is its community, and that's each and every one of you tonight. And that's you taking the time to give financially tonight by texting Impact Now to 44321, and also by being generous with your time and your support and your just general giving spirit, especially. And what I love about that is that we are sending these entrepreneurs every year off with the generous spirit that you are infusing in them tonight. So you are reshaping the way that entrepreneurs and businesses think about how they interact with each other and the community. And you can see that in the wonderful alumni who have generously donated their time tonight. Thank you, Shay and Dawn and Ileana. And in a minute, you'll hear from Mike as well. And that is exactly the type of entrepreneur that you are supporting tonight. You are supporting someone who knows the value of community, who knows the support that you've given. And I bet you if you talk to each and every one of them, they would tell you they didn't do it alone. I would tell you that they did it with the support of the community. And that is what your dollars, thank you, Daniel, are giving tonight. And I have to say too, one of the coolest things is that the Reset community of entrepreneurs have created over 300 jobs and raised over $11 million in revenue. So not only are you supporting these wonderful entrepreneurs, you are supporting a community of success and empowerment and impact. So these are real dollars that are going to a real entrepreneur that are going to make a real difference. And I was trying to do some math earlier. I see that people are generously donating, so you are messing with my math, but in the best way. But I was looking that if we each donated about $15, maybe it was a little less now, if everyone donated between $10 and $15 tonight, we would hit our goal of $5,000, which means we would be able to support a third company with an award, not just two. We could stretch this money to make a meaningful grant for a third company. So if you got about $10 in your pocket that you would have spent on a Starbucks drink or some other place, I can't think of a better time to grab your phone and use those dollars wisely, because that is going to have a far more reaching impact. And I also encourage some of the startups throughout the rest of this to maybe put in the chat, I'm gonna put you on the spot, but maybe put in the chat how a third impact award would help you, how this money would be going to a support. Thank you for the math, appreciate it. How this extra award would help you, where these funds would go, show this community that these dollars are not going to waste, and that these dollars are truly empowering these entrepreneurs to the challenges ahead. As we've all experienced with this last year in COVID, innovation is now more important than ever. So thank you all for these donations, and please keep texting and keep checking out the link to support throughout the night. Let it get to that $5,000. Thank you. Back to Sarah.
Thank you, Allie. And I'm so grateful for this as I'm watching this little thermometer bar creep up. It means so much to have your support, echoing everything that Allie just said. And thank you, Allie, for spending your evening with us, helping to raise these funds on behalf of our cohort. With that, I am excited that we are now moving into the fourth and final segment of this evening. The topic for this section is creating responsible and let me back that up. Creating responsible production and consumption ecosystems. And by now you've seen that there is a theme of lots of entry points into the various topics that you've heard from tonight. So I will let them speak for themselves, and first would like to introduce Rob and Lewis, the founders of Growler Power. Take it away.
Hello, thank you, Sarah. Hello, my name is Lewis Westfall. My co-founder and good friend Rob Zalanka and I are proud to introduce you to Growler Power. For those that like making this face and enjoy stale flat beer, there's no need to keep listening. But now that I have your attention, the reusable glass growler container has been used in the beer industry for decades. But here's the challenge. Carbonated beverages like beer or soda will lose that carbonation within 24 hours once they're open. This directly affects the quality of that craft beverage. The alternatives of cans and bottles are single-use containers that can pose a bigger problem to the environment. An increased carbon footprint, disposal of that packaging, and supply chain shortages are just a few of these issues.
So the solution is the Growler Power beverage system. It's a portable pub that connects to your growler, which by the way already exists, and it's already in use by many people around the world. It also locks in the freshness of your beverage and allows you to quickly change from growler to growler to keep the party going. It's great for cookouts, tailgating, by the beach and by the pool, and in your office. It also works with a variety of craft beverages, including kombucha tea, cider, cold brew, zero-proof beer, and cocktails. Not only is our device more than 20% lower in cost than our closest competitor, but it'll be the first portable device in the market that is compatible with standard containers, and it actively cools using ice rather than only just providing insulation.
We want to become the leading partner in and positively impact the craft beverage industry. Our innovative product line will start with the Growler Power beverage system and include optional upgrades. consumable items, and aftermarket accessories like t-shirts, hats, stickers, and other merchandise. Our supportive programs and partnerships will include co-marketing and co-branding synergies with local craft beverage producers. Our business will represent our core values: support for our employees, suppliers, and partners, diversity and inclusiveness in everything we do, support the community that supports us, and take care of the environment. Oh, goodness. Sorry, went too far. Our most important community initiative will be the creation of an assembly and order fulfillment center that extends employment opportunities to the underserved population in Hartford. We believe in the idea that talent is equally distributed. Our mission is to ensure that opportunity is as well.
Thanks. So our team has over 100 years of collective experience in areas of supply chain, product development, operations, working at companies of varying size and from varying industries. Given the sheer size and growth of the craft beer and cider markets just in the US, we have a plan to break even within a year of shipping our first growler power system. Our long-term growth and profitability will be improved through scale and higher margin upgrades, accessories, and other programs. So traction. Just in the last 3 months, we've accomplished a lot. Not only did we achieve all 5 of our SMART goals thanks to the Reset program, we've grown our team, met with more producers, and raised over $7,000 from a preliminary Kickstarter campaign. We didn't envision doing a Kickstarter campaign until later in January, so that kind of came out of nowhere. It was amazing. And we have bigger plans this quarter, including the implementation of our multifaceted marketing strategy, securing some needed funding, meeting with more producers, and finalizing our product design. So on behalf of the Growler Power team, we want to thank you for your time tonight and look forward to meeting with some of you very soon.
Thank you.
Awesome. With that, I would love to introduce one of the team members from Pico Technology, Michael. Go ahead, and there you go. Perfect. Take it away.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here tonight. Very excited to present you Pico, which is a sustainable catering platform with lockers for individuals. My name is Michael Guan. I'm the founder and CEO of Pico Technology. Because of pandemic, we see food delivery becomes a very common approach for people to get lunch and dinner. However, for customers, we see a lot of uncertainties in today's delivery platforms like Uber Eats or DoorDash. There might be delays during your delivery process, or there might be something wrong with your food. For merchants, we also see many local restaurants are struggling with layer of fees. Uber Eats charge up to 30% commissions to merchants, which is terrible to many local restaurants because they are already operating at a very low margin. We also see customers are struggling with the fees as well. A meal starting at $19 could end up being over $30 with all the fees and tips. So facing those problems, we decided to develop Pico platform and the lockers. We kindly ask our customers to place pre-order at least 2 hours before, and you can even pre-arrange your lunch and dinner for the entire week or just specific days. Users who place pre-order will be able to pick up their food from the Pico station, which is our food locker, at the preset time without any interactions with the delivery guy. We even add temperature control units and sanitation units into the locker so that when you receive the food, it's hot and fresh. And because we are using order batching algorithms to consolidate similar orders from local communities, we'll be able to cut up to 95% of the traditional logistic costs. At the same time, since restaurants are able to prepare order in batch, listing the price of the food will be much more affordable on our platform. And the delivery process will be much more sustainable and environmental friendly because when our delivery guys are able to deliver 30 to 50 orders in one delivery, the logistic will be very effective and efficient. So we're trying to redefine food delivery business and even meal prep business and many meal kits delivery business as well in different scenarios, including office buildings, apartment buildings, and airports, schools, or train stations. Our addressable market size is very huge. And currently, we're doing soft launching at our first distribution location at 360 State, which is a high-rise apartment building at New Haven, Connecticut. And we have gained some good traction. We will soon roll out to more locations to serve different communities. About the founding team, we are 3 MBA candidates from Yale School of Management. We are serial entrepreneurs, data scientists, restaurant owners, US veteran, woman entrepreneur. And besides the founding team, we receive tremendous support from our team members who are focusing on sustainability, food science, and marketing. We also receive tremendous support from our mentors, academic advisors, and my team and I really appreciate all the support and mentorship from Reset and our cohort who are also presenting here tonight. And here comes the most important part of my presentation. We're seeking for $150,000 to acquire 10 machines to roll out to 10 more locations in New Haven area. At the same time, to develop our mobile apps and the backend locker system. Yes, feel free to follow us on Instagram. That's our final ask. Thank you.
And next up, thank you, Michael. Next up, I am so thrilled to introduce Richard Fu, who is the founder of City Square Farms. Richard, go ahead and unmute, share your screen, and take it away.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you all for sticking around for so long. All right, so there you go. Let's see. Okay, do you see my screen well? All right.
Yep.
All right, so hi, my name is Richard Fu from City Square Farms by AgriEvolution. City Square Farms is a franchisable indoor farming brand and platform invested by the community for the community. We are seeking to raise $400,000 to set up the first pilot facility in Greater Hartford. Last year's COVID lockdown showed us how vulnerable our food supply chain was. Farmers are essential workers and we need them to really secure our local food supply. Yet they go through struggles that nobody seems to really notice. So did you know that an average Connecticut farmer makes only about $25,000 from farming? And they need second or third jobs just to make the living. So why such hardship? And what's really the reason behind it? The answer is very simple. The long winter season in New England. Practically for nearly half a year, farms are idle. And because of the low productivity, we grow only about 3% of the total food we consume in the state. So conversely, what that means is 97% of the food must be outsourced from farms like in California, in Arizona. So that costs Connecticut $9.2 billion each year. And imagine if we can recapture even just 1% of that. So with City Square Farms, we can change the limited growing season to year-round farming with a franchisable indoor farming solution. We have developed these techniques over the years and we are ready to share the knowledge with other farmers. So here's our formula for success. We made it turnkey, we set up the systems for the farmers and teach everything they need to know about growing indoors. We made it low risk. Technology virtually eliminates the climate and pest issues the farmers will face, and we handle the sales and marketing so that the market will be ready to buy. We also made it a franchise so farmers can afford to get started today and pay for it over time. We made it investable so that triple bottom line investors have another place to grow their assets. And finally, we made it for the community. Families can buy fresh food and that keeps every penny right here in Connecticut. So just about the process, here's how it works. We first identify the franchisee, farmer, and the community that wants to set up the farm or a square. And we engage the community and crowdfund on behalf of the farmer. And when successful, we set up the square. And the farmer will be able to focus on what they do best, which is to really grow. And we will collect franchising, marketing fee, and split them with the investors until the debt is paid off. Our structure makes it really easy to scale and the profits grow with it. Farmers will be able to earn a minimum of $75,000 from the first year and upwards of $200,000 as they grow. So are you ready to secure our local food supply and revitalize farming all around in Connecticut? Help us grow and spread the word, and connect us to the right stakeholders and shareholders. Join me and let's grow with City Square Farms. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Richard, for that presentation. Again, let's hear it for Richard and put all of your good questions into the chat box. We are just one pitch away from the panel, so be sure that you're putting your questions in there. And with that, I am so thrilled to invite our final pitching company for this evening, Electra Technologies. I will invite you to unmute yourself, share your screen, and take us out.
Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for your attention tonight. Really appreciate it. My name's Amanda and I'm the co-founder of Electra Technologies. So who says you can't have sustainability and luxury at the same time? Introducing Electra, New England's only zero emission ride service. We aim to keep your ride experience high and your carbon footprint low. Like many of you, Kyle and I fear for our future. We are really scared for the future generations that are walking into our world. We all have witnessed the numerous wildfires, hurricanes, and extreme weather events that have increasingly occurred across our country and all over the world. We have completely disrupted an ecosystem and we're entirely responsible to fix it. The planet that our parents and our grandparents have handed us is aggressively dying, and it's up to our generation to find solutions before it's too late. Air pollution, fossil fuel dependencies, and unsafe transportation are all negatively impacting our planet. Gas-powered transportation are America's biggest air quality compromisers, and they contribute to nearly 1/3 of all US air pollution. The climate crisis has arrived and is accelerating faster than most scientists expected. It is more severe than anticipated and threatening natural ecosystems and the fate of humanity. To secure a sustainable future, we must change how we live and we must change how we transport ourselves everywhere. Introducing Electra. Electra's ride service provides zero emission fleet, charged from clean energy infrastructure, and incorporates smart transportation technology. We provide zero emission transportation wherever you need to go at very little cost to the environment. Our algorithm tracks each pound of CO2 saved, helping passengers and enterprise really focus on their environmental responsibilities. We all have crucial decisions to make this year. What will you do to reduce your carbon footprint? Book your next zero emission ride with Electra by simply downloading our mobile app on the iOS App Store and hailing the cleanest and greenest ride in Connecticut. As we scale Electra, we're looking to license our software to any business or entity with electric vehicle fleets so that they can book rides and track their own carbon and within their own organization. We're using our service in Bermuda and West Hartford to pilot and earn carbon credits tracked within the data in our platforms. Electra's ideal customer is an individual or business that currently uses a limousine or transportation service for traveling purposes. Corporations must alter their methods to drastically change our planet's life expectancy. Electra provides a simple solution to your everyday transportation needs. And based on our local Connecticut and Bermuda partnerships, our market research shows that people are willing to pay more, knowing that their expenses won't impact or negatively impact the planet. The cost of fuel alone influences taxi operators to choose Electra. We are projecting 1.7 million in our year one with a 30% churn rate. Our average ride would be from $20 to $24. Electra has received a lot of traction over the past few months, specifically our ongoing conversations with a lot of different businesses and corporations in Hartford County. We have had a really strong partnership with Mayor Sherry Cantor. We debuted on Earth Day. I don't know if everyone saw some of the PR or the press that we've received there. And to date, we have over 500 app users. Our core team consists of Kyle, Brad, Tyler, and myself. And we currently have an advisory board of Brad McCain, David Wasmer, and Eric Jackson. Electra will continue towards our pilot in Bermuda next month and in Hartford at this time, and we are currently seeking $200,000 for 5% equity. We know that we have something on our hands here, and we can ultimately scale this to a sustainable smart city software that helps islands and urban cities really promote clean and renewable energy. The audience is there. They want clean technology. No one else can do it like we can. Are you in? Ride with us. Find Electra on the iOS App Store and follow us on our social media pages at Electra Drives.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know I'm in. I can't wait to get those ride shares going. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And with this, we are on to our very final panel of the evening. I am, as ever, honored to invite yet another alum of the Reset Impact Accelerator. Mike Kukuza is the CTO and president of EnviroPower, whose slogan I love, it's power to the people. And EnviroPower is really all about, they're committed to changing the way that sustainable energy is made accessible to everybody. And so, of course, this really resonated as we were thinking about the panel, pitches that you just heard. So Mike, I would love to invite you to unmute yourself, and I will give you the permission to do that. And you can go ahead and ask our esteemed pitching companies your questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. I hope you can hear me all right. And thanks for everyone for pitching. Really excellent. Like I said, Sarah said I was from the 2016 cohort, and what I can see now in 2021 is just really an elevated entrepreneurship here in Connecticut, which is really awesome to see. And as Ali said, the alumni, coming back to support and to see more entrepreneurs out there, it's really exciting. It's why we come back to really support and make sure you guys all have what was given to us. So thanks for that, Sarah. And we'll jump right into it. What I want to do is start asking all four panelists the same question, starting with Amanda and Electra. How does your business contribute to creating a more responsible, complete value chain, including the consumption, production, entire supply chain, all the way down to consumer ecosystem?
Awesome, great question. So first, our ride services are the first puzzle piece to building a smart island, smart city atmosphere. Electric Technologies commits to reducing carbon emissions 1 mile at a time by offering zero emission rides and offsetting the damage to our air quality. So our plan is to deploy our vehicles and use solar energy to charge that infrastructure, and then in turn, use sensors and cameras to track IoT data that's going to enhance the traffic on the road, safety throughout the community based on gun detection, criminal, digital, smart crime, and all of that stuff. So, our ride service is really that starting pillar to that smart island model, making our communities much more sustainable and efficient.
Excellent. That's very well-rounded, and appreciate your answer, guys. Next up, Robin Lewis from Growler Power. Same question. How does your business contribute to creating a more responsible, complete value chain ecosystem?
Take myself off mute. Sorry about that. Known for that. No, great question, Mike. Thanks for that, and thanks for your support and what you're doing here on this panel. As Amanda and Kyle really communicated really well, our Earth is in trouble. Our planet is dying. So from a consumption perspective, what we're really trying to do simply is encourage the craft beverage drinkers of the world to go and use reusable growler containers. Go to the establishments, pay them the money, and bring that beverage home if you're not going to drink it there. What our system does, it provides a way for them to enjoy that beverage without worrying about quality being degraded over time like you normally do with a growler. So that's first on the consumption side. And then second, from an internal operations side, a big part of our mission is to hire people who are underserved, who haven't been able to find a job for whatever reason. We want to give them a chance to provide for themselves and develop skills so that this is a stepping stone to another better job down the line. So that's a really key part of our values and our mission. And it's important for us to take care of the community that's taking care of us as a business. So those are the two ways we want to give back.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. Making sure that the consumer's not wasting any beer, and making sure that you guys are producing products in a responsible way. Perfect. There's nothing worse than pouring out flat beer, I gotta say. Great. So let's go with Michael and Pico. Same question to you. How does your business contribute to creating a more responsible overall value chain and ecosystem?
Yes, I would like to invite my co-founder, Wilbur, to answer this question.
Sure.
Hi, I was having trouble unmuting myself. Thank you. So this question, so there are from four different perspectives, I think. So first, from the perspective of social impact, we are providing small business and local restaurant an alternative online ordering platform with better fee structure and can help them to significantly expand their customers' outreach. And because with lower logistic costs, we can deliver beyond the regular delivery range. So due to this order batching system, we will also help the restaurant improve their operating efficiency. Secondly, from the environmental impact perspective, our order batching system that empowered by our advanced algorithm can significantly reduce the carbon emission during the delivery. Also, through our conversation with multiple property managers, they acknowledge and appreciate the value of our proposed hot food lockers. So utilizing that can reduce the entrance of unknown personnel to the apartment building and improve the community safety. Lastly, we're also creating a sustainable measurement system, which is not mentioned in the presentation, to promote partner restaurants that make an effort to a sustainable operation, and at the meantime, helping sustainability conscious customer to make a better food choice.
Yeah, that's great. And what I really like about that is some of the smaller restaurants I know really pay a lot for some of the Grubhub and others. So lowering that for them really puts it back into the local community, which is a really great aspect. So thanks, guys. Thanks for your answers.
Thank you.
I think it's last up here for Richard. How does your business contribute to creating a more responsible overall value chain and ecosystem?
All right, thank you for the question. So in order to answer the question, I want you to think about what we have in existence today. So if you go to grocery store and look at the produce label, and you see in a very tiny print where it's coming from usually. And sometimes, oftentimes they're coming from California, again, Iowa, Arizona, sometimes Mexico, New Zealand, and think about all the hands that food is passed on, and just trace back to the farm and think about the impacts that your food is having on not just on the economy, but also environmentally, food safety wise, and so on. And if you think that way, it makes it clear why it's so beneficial to have local food production right here in Connecticut. And I'm talking about, here in Connecticut right now, but this can apply to anywhere, right? And just having a local production and be able to grow year round and benefit the community at the same time, I think that's the value we add. And also, again, just to add on the environmental side, 60 to 70% of the food we consume in the country is coming from California, single state. And if you read the news, you know that California has been under water stress. It's actually a severe water drought, mega drought since like early 2000. So what that means is, and we are depleting the water. The California aquifers are getting depleted, right? So what we are essentially doing is drilling deep down into the well, pumping the water, spray to the crops. We grow the crops and transporting all across the world, right? So that's essentially, we are transporting water from water depressed region. We don't have to do that with indoor farm. So there are so many things, that when you trace back all the supply logistics, there are so many things you can think about, all the benefits that indoor farming and the city square farms can bring to the consumers and to the local community.
Excellent. Yeah, really great answer. I really appreciate that, the full look at that. So with that, I think I appreciate everyone's answers. Fantastic, really highlighting how you've thoughtfully not only thought about your value proposition, but how you touch every aspect of the value chain, which is really important when thinking about a business. So with that, we're going to go to some crowd questions here. I'm going to go right back to Richard, actually. We've got some interest to know, you've got a great idea bringing farming, inside locally to Connecticut. Who have you been working with from partners to make this happen? And do you have any traction to actually deploy any farms either previously or in the near future?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. So currently we are working with several potential franchisees, and one of them, so far we have two early letter of intents, one from Kinney Park Sustainability Project in Hartford, and another from a gentleman from New Britain. And so with the with Kinney Park Sustainability Project, we are currently in discussion with the city of Hartford and exploring possible indoor farm pilot in Hartford, downtown Hartford. And one of the locations that we have in consideration is the Downtown North project, or now the North Crossing development. So this is by the Dunkin' Donuts Stadium, and there's an old Bank of America data center that's been vacant since 2008. That's a huge concrete building, and you can see that from highway, right? And that's been vacant, but it's a concrete building with windowless building. That's going to cost the city $12 million just to demolish it. Who's going to pay for that? Developer doesn't want to pay for it, and the city doesn't want to pay for it. But we have a potential application for that building with indoor farming because we don't need windows. So, we have, again, this is just in discussion at this point, but we are working with cities like Hartford, as well as South Windsor, where our business is located.
Excellent. Yeah, sometimes these things, good ideas take a long time sometimes. So appreciate your insight into that and look forward to seeing them pop up in Hartford. Our next question would be for Michael and Pico. How do you guys, I mean, this is a great idea, right? Have these boxes in all these locations, apartments and other access points. This could be, an extremely large idea, which would immediately attract others in the market space, potentially even companies like fast food chains. So how do you plan to stay ahead of the curve when exposing potential large market opportunity?
Yeah, that's a great question. So give me 1 second here. So I think I did not mention that in our presentation, but we are actually like a supplier and partner working with different fast food chain restaurants or local restaurants. We specifically work with local restaurants and help them to develop sustainability thinkings, including offer them a comprehensive sustainable packaging solution. Basically, the bowls, the spoons, we help them develop those packaging solutions and make sure their food could be fit into our lockers. So we are actually like a partner with local restaurants. We're not like a direct competitor. We do not produce food by ourselves.
Excellent.
Yes. I'm not sure if that answered your question or not.
No, it's okay. I mean, the insight into that is perfect. So no, we appreciate that.
And we also spoken with a lot of restaurants that have the plan to develop their own lockers in different regions. However, we find out that there is actually a demand bottleneck for this kind of market activities because people like to have different options.
Excellent.
And what we do is to leveraging this platform and the lockers to offer them different optionalities.
Perfect. Staying local, making sure you're hearing what your customers want and then delivering. Yeah, excellent. Yes. Really appreciate that, Michael. Going to Robin Lewis at Growler Power. We heard briefly that this is perfect for you're taking home your beer. You briefly mentioned your kombucha market. Can you talk about other potential markets that this can go to? And will you have to modify your product to do so? And then to follow up, if you do, is that included in what you're looking to raise and get support for right now?
I'll go ahead and take this one. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. No, there wouldn't have to be any modification. We are looking at a possible modification for like nitro charged coffee, which seems to be on the rise. That in and of itself would require a nitrogen cartridge in the regulator, as well as possibly a different style of nozzle to come out. But we are working with the manufacturer and with our design engineer to see if there's a way that we can make a nozzle that's compatible, or a faucet that's compatible with two different types of nozzles. Basically, you would unscrew one nozzle for standard beer or standard beverage and screw in another nozzle that would then help with the nitrogen aspect of the beverage. But as far as beverages go, what will come with the growler power itself is likely going to be the standard 64-ounce growler. So if somebody wants to make, I don't know, they have a brunch going on a Sunday morning and they want to make 64 ounces of a mimosa, go for it. Pour it in there, drop it into the container. Now all of your guests can walk right up to the dispensing system and pour out their own beverage. If you've got multiple friends that have, several different growler powers, you can line them all up, put a sticker on each one as to what's in each one. You could put iced coffee in one, you could put mimosas in another, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how we imagine this going forward.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really important to think about product development and key ways to get to different markets with minimum investment. So I really like that answer. Last question, and we got to be quick with this one. And I'm going to ask you a really big question. So how you can compress it, Electra team, would be fantastic. You have a really big idea. We've seen, billion dollar companies, crazy valuations in Uber, in Lyft. I'm not sure if you're following what Tesla's doing, but they're making self-driving cars so they can have taxi services. How are you going to be different? And how are you going to compete with companies that have billion-dollar market caps and still lose money?
So we get this question a lot, and I think that we have similarities to Uber and Lyft, but really the driving passion behind Electra is really getting people self-aware of all of the different sustainable actions that they can have in their own community and giving them the power to see the impact that they can have through transportation, through a digital app. So that carbon savings is really something that we want more people to understand, that every time you get into an Uber, get into a Lyft, you are contributing to the air pollution in your city, in that community, and beyond. And so we really, thrive ourselves on, giving that power back to the community, telling them, this is a way for you guys to get involved. This is a way how we can save the planet. Additionally, we are hiring our drivers. So in comparison to Uber and Lyft, we really are going to, develop a training program that not only makes, our users feel safe in that vehicle, but also just establishing that connection with drivers and making them feel valued and appreciated. More times than the media, Uber especially, is losing that connection with their drivers, and that leash is really long. So we can definitely guarantee that every user that comes into our car is going to feel, clean, green, and trusting, that carrier. So
our ride service serves as a pilot into our vehicle as a service software that we're looking to license to other fleets, other EV, businesses, taxi. Even if corporations have EV fleets, they'll be able to use this service, use our software, track their rides, also track that offset, a little more money in their pocket as well. So we definitely want to give back that way, and that's essentially how we're different. We're looking to essentially, help these companies track this offset. And as we move down to Bermuda, that's where we're developing our smart islands model, incorporating cameras, sensors, electric vehicles, solar panel charging, and all of that. So we've got everything lined up with the government there, all the protocols. So it's an exciting time, and that's our next steps as we finish up our cohort.
Excellent. I love the ambition and really appreciate the answers. Thanks, guys. And thanks for the panel discussion. This has been great. Your presentations were all great. And again, just honored to see such a impactful cohort here. So I'm going to kick it back to Sarah. Thanks for having me, and really great to hear and see everyone here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And again, to all of every single person now that you've heard from tonight, we have made it. We've heard from such an incredible round of 14 startups, 5 alumni. I mean, I am just feeling so inspired and optimistic about the state of the world right now. And I am truly grateful to you all for being here and making that happen. We are now nearing the end of this evening's event. And we have a very important job to do, which is to determine the use of the funds that we have raised together tonight. And I see that thermometer is still creeping up. So at this point, rest assured, you can still keep contributing, and we will actually keep letting you contribute to that award pool even through tomorrow. But I'm going to unlock our voting, and you will see a link momentarily in the chat box. And this is where you now have the opportunity here to select your top 2 companies that you heard tonight. You're not ranking them, you're just picking the 2 that stood out to you that you feel you would invest your money in if this was the opportunity for you. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to, first of all, make your way to that link, which Emily just put into the chat. You might now need to scroll up. I know there's a lot of activity in the chat, which we love. There it is again, amazing. So click on that link, and we'll keep this open for just a few minutes. So go there now. Members of the cohort, you may also vote for yourselves, for your peers. Again, this is your chance, all of you in the audience, to really think like an investor. Some of you are investors, so you are poised to do that as it stands. And as a reminder, this is going to be how we determine who will take home a portion of the $5,000 that we're aiming to raise by tomorrow, and we still have some time to do that. I will tell you right now, I have every faith that we will get there by tomorrow. We're going to give you another few hours, and we will make sure that you have the power also to keep circulating that link, because what you saw here tonight does not need to be limited only to those that were here in this room. If this resonated with you, I would encourage you to share that fundraising page. You can tell your friends that they can also text, knowing that their money will also go directly to support the small businesses that you saw here tonight. So keep your votes coming in. I'm going to toggle over here and see how the votes are rolling in. Okay, we're only about half of you have voted so far, so we've got more work to do. Keep them coming, and if you're having any trouble accessing that web page, please send us a chat. Let us know. We want your vote to be counted. We want your voice to be heard. You have the power, and I hope that you are feeling good about this, because we need this so much. We need to invest in local businesses. We need to know that they are going to be able to thrive with your support. So keep those votes coming in, keep the dollars rolling in. And I will give you just a few more minutes. I see those dollars are still going up. This is wonderful. Yes, thank you, folks that are continuing to donate even tonight in the moment. This is incredible. It is just always such an inspiration to see the community pull together and to pool our resources in this way. It means a lot. The fact that $10 or $15 can be now part of a larger contribution. This is why we're here. This is what we're aiming to empower at every level. This is why we believe so much in the power of community. So thank you. And actually, I'm going to invite, we'll keep the voting open for just another minute, but I realize we are also creeping up on 8:30, and we do have a few more things to share. So I would love to invite Nate Dudek, our chair of the Reset Board of Directors, to come up here and share some very brief remarks, and then I will come back before we close the votes.
Thanks, Sarah. So I'm Nate Dudek. I'm the CTO of a company called Payveris, headquartered down in Cromwell. I've been on the board of directors of Reset for several years now. I've been volunteering with the organization for several years before that. I always come out of the Venture Showcase every year being so energized. So encouraged by the incredible work that's happening. This year is definitely no exception. I love seeing all the emphasis on local small businesses, on supporting others, on lifting up our communities and each other's needs. Really watching your confidence tonight. You're all working on changing the world and you all know it. Really listening to the wisdom, and I don't throw around that word lightly, the wisdom from the panels is absolutely awesome. I'm so encouraged by this event tonight. Thank you really to all of you, to all the entrepreneurs, to all the alumni, our panel moderators, the Reset staff for doing all the hard work that you do, my fellow board members, the event sponsors and funders tonight, Murtha Cullina, Walker Group, Stanley Black & Decker, Capital of Change, Travelers, CT Next, and Hartford Foundation of Public Giving. Last and certainly not least, all of you. This has been a 3-hour event and it's been absolutely engaging, and I'm so thankful that all of you came here to support Reset and support all these entrepreneurs. This work absolutely matters. All of you recognize that tonight by being here and by continuing to support these entrepreneurs and organizations like Reset. And it's so important to invest in local businesses, but more importantly, it's so important to invest in leaders that are not only working to run a successful venture, but also to give back to our community and ultimately make the world that much better. They're working towards a more equitable society. They're working towards sustainability and protecting our environment. They're working towards social justice, and they're working on making our communities truly thrive. These startups are all on to the next steps of their journey, and every stage of growth brings on new challenges. Being an entrepreneur is hard almost every step of the way. It can be a very lonely place. Your ongoing support for them is so important. At Reset, we continue to do more and more. We're continuing to execute on our strategic plan and our push to do as much as we can for our local businesses and our community. Please reach out if you'd like to help. We're always looking for more volunteers, for mentors, for people who are really willing to help us out in any way. We're trying to do a lot, and your help is greatly appreciated. As Sarah mentioned, you can continue to donate even after the event is over. And as always, Reset runs off of your generosity and your donations. So I'd love to invite you to consider becoming a supporting member or making a donation so that we can continue to run these types of programs. I hope I will see you at some of our upcoming events. Our food incubator final event will be coming up very soon. We always have our Beyond Business as Usual event in the fall. Our food incubator is the one that is particularly dangerous. There is a particular barbecue sauce that if I buy any more jars of, my wife is probably going to make me build a new pantry just for it. But it is an awesome event, and I hope to see you there. Again, thank you. I will turn it back over to Sarah now, and we will see if we can announce the winners of the vote.
Thank you for casting your votes and using your power in such a beautiful way tonight. I will not keep you in much more suspense here. I will say before I announce these that we are going to continue tallying the money. So what I'm going to tell you tonight is our top 3 award winners. And I'm not going to tell you the exact amount of money because I trust that we are going to keep getting some more funds in here. So we will announce the exact sums of money as soon as that is completely tallied up by tomorrow. But rest assured, these 3 are going to make absolutely good use of the sums that they are awarded. And I want to just also once again recognize every single person who presented your pitch here this evening. You have done an amazing job over the last few months, and I'm so proud and honored that you were all chosen and that you chose to be part of this program and to walk alongside us for the last few months. With that, oh boy, okay. Our 3rd place winner for this evening, drum roll please, and I wish we had more sound effects here, is Samad Gardens Initiative. Congratulations, Samad Gardens. Let's hear it for them in the chat. Wonderful, congrats. Our 2nd prize this evening will be going to Pico Technology. Let's hear it. I see that the chat is lighting up and I'm not even gonna look at it because I trust that y'all are celebrating in there. And the final drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Let's hear it. I hope you're making noise on your own end. The first prize winner tonight is the Key Bookstore, Kamani Harrison. Congratulations. Kamani. Oh, I love seeing all the hands. This is incredible. Congratulations. So well deserved to all of you. I want to close our night out with just a few final thank yous once again for all of you sticking around here with us. And I just, again, thank you. And we will follow up next week. We will be in touch with you to share all of this celebration and more, and what comes next, and how you can keep in touch and involved with all of these startups. Thank you, thank you, thank you.